Again, welcome back for another daily Bite of Isaac Repentance. It is St. Patrick's Day, which is, March 17th, 2025. We got a special Isaac daily today, which we're going to get a bunch of luck. And I think we get like tooth shots or something. And probably like a St. Patrick's Day hat or something. Is that right? Close enough. It was something like that. I was right about the luck. Green color too, so I was partially right. Like it's been a while. I know it was like a bunch of luck you get out of it for the daily. Curated run. Tomorrow I don't think there's any curated stuff, so get a chance to play another tainted run, which I didn't do it last week because I had a bunch of stuff come up. I've got very few VHS tapes to go through, but the thing is, like, there's some issues with them. Like, need to be clean. Like, I know one home movie needs to be clean, so I got to send that in, like, probably next month or something, right? Because I already spent, like, an arm and a leg on a VCR, and that was, like, about as much as the Xbox Series X. A little bit more than that, actually, but it's like, wow, what a rip out. No, not really. Considering the person cleaned it, tested it, and it did work out just fine, and they're obsolete. This is actually a pretty sophisticated VCR, though. I'm impressed with this thing, honestly. I was, like, going through the manual last night to see about, like... any other possibilities, what could be causing the tape not to be read? Not read, but the home movie not being read fully. I'm still going to conclude that... excuse me. I'm going to conclude that the tape needs to be cleaned. I don't want to do the fast forward and rewind option. I did a little bit of that, like a few days ago, and then I'm like, I better not, because there could be... I could damage the tape, make it worse or something. So I'm going to get that sent to clean. Because I know I played the tape over like 10 years ago when I did my backup on a DVR. Not the greatest backup there, but it's a backup nonetheless. And yeah, so I'm going to get that established. I think I got the DVR back in... I would say 2013, 2014. Could have been 2012, right? I don't remember exactly when I got it. I think maybe I bought it on Amazon. And it was, because like I had cable at the time, and I would record like local government access channel, right? Like city council stuff or whatever. And that's before like they discontinued it in my hometown like just a couple of years ago or so. Because, like, they've been doing the live stream for years. A few years. Let's see, when did they start doing live stream? Probably 2017, 2018, something like that, maybe. And they had, like, really shitty cameras, right? Like, very shitty, like, camera setup. Like, really bad quality, right? So what they used was because I looked a little bit more into it, I think. Because, like, they have, like, articles from like way back when from the newspaper archives about this stuff, and so they reported like essentially they use like an old ass security camera that they can control with whatever settings. You could pan, you could zoom in, zoom out, whatever else, right? But it's really bad quality because it's old as hell. So, and they never replaced it until like around the same time they were a little, like shortly after they did the whole live stream stuff, about a year or so later, they started to switch that up too, thank God. Because, like, it was hard as fuck to, like, make out text. I mean, not super hard as fuck, but it was definitely a challenge. It was all pixelated, blurry, like, low resolution. Issues with like saturation of colors and contrast and everything. It was just a mess. And the interesting thing is, like, I did some, like, requests for, like, certain videos over the years ago. So you can't get those tapes anymore. The ones that I got now, you can't get anymore because they basically destroy the tapes after 5 years, after the council meeting or whatever that you're looking for or whatever, you know? So I got some archives. Plus, like, I've also recorded stuff through a DVR. Was the deal? It's interesting. And they don't do any reruns of it. It just, you know, whatever's live on there. And that was it. And just different times, you know? Like, I mean, they were using government access long, or like government access channel, like long after, like, all these other cities and stuff like that were, like, switching it up to, like, different platforms and everything. They finally got around to it, and then they got rid of the channel. I even got, like, old-ass commercials off of there, which would be pretty sweet to just, like, go through again. It's kind of cool, though. Because it's, like, all these different advertisements, and then they use, like, different music, right? Random music. Playing in the background. It was usually copyrighted music, if I recall. I don't know what the deal is with the licensing agreement with that. I don't think there was. Oh, shot speed up. That might help with a knife. Yeah, just different times, you know? And it's just kind of one of those things where it's like another one of those things where the days of yesteryear and stuff is gone away. The old school kind of tech that people relied on, and now it's like, oh, if you want to watch a city council meeting, you have to go to their... It's an obscure streaming site, right? I mean, it's not super obscure, but it's mostly obscure, if it makes sense. They got a contract with somebody and stuff. I thought about pulling a bunch of more of their tapes and uploading it or whatever, archiving it. I mean, it isn't a whole lot of space taken up. Well, actually, well, is it? Maybe not. I don't think it is. I mean, it's pale in comparison of, like, data I've created the last, like, what, like about 20 years? You know, terabytes worth? That would be small potatoes. Of course, the catch is I have to use, software that... I think it only lets me download one video at a time. I might use another one that could probably do in bulk. I don't know if that would work or not. It might. I'll have to look more into it. Yeah, the same thing goes with, like, my newspaper, my local newspaper at the time. It's like... So they've been doing digital since... Or, like, a website for the news stuff since, like... the 90s, right? Mid to late 90s they were doing it. And they're still like, they still have like a paper operation, right? But they outsourced where they produce the copies and stuff, of course. It used to be in the facility, but then it, you know, company after, well, one company took over and they basically, you know, cut a bunch of journalists loose, and then they just kind of like people that have been there for decades, they cut them loose with, like, much cheaper options that made the quality of the paper much worse. Almost nothing was, like, reported locally. It was just a bunch of, like, national stuff. So, and then that got like taken over. By another company for a short while, and then another company after that. Let's take this, maybe. So another company takes it over, and we need like a tears up or something, because like this thing doesn't charge all the way like I wanted to. And another company took over, like a local company that ironically was competing against this company, I think, with their own set of newspaper companies. And they took over this. And been in there ever since. He does it again.
Luck up.
And so, yeah, it's interesting, like, the whole cycle of things. Because the newspaper company, it was owned by a different, like, you know, head company, right? So there was like a major company of some sort. They were having issues with making profits, I think it was, with this this newspaper company. I mean, they were literally getting into debt, right? Like, there was some issues going behind the scenes. And then when they were talking about selling it off, then more information was coming out. Because, like, for the longest time, like, almost nobody knew about, except probably the staff there, knew about, or some of the staff maybe. The only ones knew about issues with their company having, like, financial issues, right? So when the news came out that they were having financial problems and stuff, and it was being sold off because it wasn't profitable, it explained a lot of things, right? So, because there's like little clues I've seen over the years with them about little like shady practices and everything else they were trying to do. Like, you know, you couldn't post the articles on like Facebook groups or something like that, or online, despite being like public. Right? These articles. And there's like loopholes to get around, like getting like PDF versions of the newspaper, things like that. And, you know, they also threatened like legality things against those that were publishing that stuff, right? And so, but I don't think they even sued anybody for like any of that kind of stuff, honestly. But what I'm trying to get at here is like, oh, and that, and it's like, then they also created events too for like different like political like events that are coming up in the area. And well, some of the ones that they organize, you know, if some outsider, which there was like a bunch of them I've seen, like wanted to photograph or do something, like they would prevent them from going in there. And, you know, their explanation, of course, is they don't want any competition. Even if it's somebody, you know, just bringing a camera, they're not even part of a media or anything like that, they would do that. Like, they were that desperate to keep any kind of competition out, right? Even if they create events and then they advocate, of course, like they are a bastion of freedom of expression and everything, they ironically don't walk the walk and talk the talk, you know? Double standards. More for me and none for thee. And then they also had like exclusive rights to photographing two different like annual events and stuff like that too. They're pretty big for the area, and which now there isn't anymore because, you know, things have changed so much to where it's like nobody does it anymore, these things, so much. Okay, well, we don't have quite the money for the chaos, but that's fine, I guess. And so there was clues, right? There was kind of context clues over the years prior to the lead up of this announcement of being sold off. Not making the money that this company was hoping to make. They're having financial issues too behind the scenes as well. I mean, not just the newspaper company, but the company that was managing that newspaper company. They were having problems of their own too. So they were looking at the worst offenders for companies to sell off to somebody else in order to cut the debt ratio with them. And so yeah, it's a fascinating thing for sure. Like all that happening. And I imagine they didn't want to get that news out, you know, for the longest time. And they knew that, they probably knew that, like, with this it being sold off was definitely like something they can't cover up or anything now, or then, I mean, when that was going on.
The chariot.
So yeah, it's something else. You know, it's another thing too. It's like kind of karma bit them in the ass, really. You know, when you're trying to like hide stuff like that from well, it was a small community too. It's not like a large ass newspaper company or anything. It was from a small community, and it's like, you know, that small community, you know, helped you essentially get in the position you need to get yourself into in the first place with staying in the area for all these decades. And it's like, then you kind of hide that, you know, financial woes you've been having until like a company decides to sell you off. And you also like interfere with like First Amendment stuff too, and, you know, do all these shady contracts and everything else, so that way no one else can, like, you know, fairly and equally like photograph or do anything, you know, report other kind of news. Oh, 1 second here. Okay, and I am back, but I'm gonna have to probably disappear again here because of gotta be someplace. A lot of fun stuff here. Okay. Yeah, but you guys won't notice, of course, that I'm gonna dip. Just like I dipped earlier for a phone call. So no worries. Just hit you guys with the pause, and it's like as if I didn't really go away. You know, that's what's nice about OBS. It's like the pausing and unpausing, stopping and going and everything else with these things. Customability with setting changes, right? Because back in the day I used to use Fraps, right? Before there was like Hypercam and some other weird stuff, right? Unregistered Hypercam. And so like, that was, I mean, Fraps worked phenomenally, right? Like, I actually purchased a license for that years ago. I imagine it still works. I just don't use it anymore. It was so handy, right? But the problem was it like those kind of features like in OBS and stuff, a lot of that customability. So there were limitations, but at its time, it was phenomenal. It was like the very few options I've had to where I needed it for different things, you know? And then before those days, I actually have a few VHS tapes I actually ran into. I totally forgot I, like, recorded those until recently. I record gameplay videos of me playing, like, either, it was mostly, oh, what is it called? It was mostly Oh, damn it. I'm blank on the name. It was mostly Pokemon Coliseum, but then there was like a Crash Bandicoot PlayStation demo. I never owned a Crash Bandicoot game. They had, well, Spyro had like a hidden demo game menu for like Crash Bandicoot, right? And I think too, I've had PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1 discs coming in or something in the mail for a little while too, with PlayStation Magazine. Wow, that sounds like a long time ago, huh? Yeah, it is. I mean, I guess depending on how you look at it. Sure, yeah, a long time ago. Let's go with that, huh? Oh, we'll take this item. Why the hell not? This is fun. Hopefully we're going the right way with this shit. Alright, whatever. We gotta get scooted anyways with Boss Rush. If I can't complete it here, by the time I leave, I'll just hit another pause, you know? Positivity? Get it? Alright. Because I want to get the Boss Rush. It's gonna be a very challenging run to get the first place, whatever on. I'm not gonna get first place, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm gonna... This is gonna be interesting here. Leviathan? Fucking worth it. Worth it, I reckon.
I found pills.
Alright. Alright!
Up.
Spoiled with choices, are we? I don't need a fly item. Mysterious liquids better. I was actually, okay, so the story was, I used to play a lot of RuneScape growing up, right? Which essentially old school RuneScape you call it now, but that was the new RuneScape, right? And I tried recording like, well, at the time, I guess you would have considered it machinima or whatever, or Let's Plays, kind of. But that was before ever such a thing. It would have been a number of years before it would have come around, right? So anyways, I used to try to record the stuff with Hypercam, and my mom keep deleting the video, right? So I don't have any surviving video of, like, any of that. And the Pokemon Coliseum and whatever stuff on the VHS tapes, I have still. Those survived. So those are probably, like, 20 years old. There's no voiceovers if it's just like recording footage without any commentary, right? So I got those kind of kept separate from the other tapes that I put away. Because the other stuff, that's mostly of like television shows, you know, very few pirated movies my mom recorded. I kept those. Like, there's nothing, like, unique about them, right? Like, other than, like, crusty looking and VHS quality. Like, I've got... like, you get these movies, like, on, oh, we completed it. Like, you can get these movies, like, mostly on, like, streaming platforms or discs and everything these days. Except with, like... Well, I have... Okay, so I have Twister on VHS, right? It needs to be cleaned. Maybe someday I'll pay to get it cleaned, right? That'd probably be the last kind of tape to get cleaned or fixed up. Because that's not my priority as much as, like, VHS tapes. As home movies or whatever, right? Or see what's on these other tapes. And that one, for example, has got, like, the Tasmanian Devil, like... whatever, like... animation thing before the start of Twister. I remember seeing that a number of times, of course, growing up. And I guess they had it on DVD too. And but then after the DVD, I guess they just got rid of it. They didn't have it for Blu-ray or whatever, I guess. Because I had the Blu-ray from like '08 that I bought like last year. I bought it because like in case The 4K version did some other things or whatever, right? And sure enough, they did, technically. They actually got rid of the naked farmer or naked whatever person in the field. Because that was a thing you could see on the Blu-ray disc, but the 4K version, you can only have the 4K movie in the digital copy. That's it. And they're going in that route now. And so they digitally like removed them from whatever else on that thing. I don't know if they've done anything else that was different other than the color grading and the sound FX tweaking. They definitely changed the sound FX to make it like stand out more, as well as like the green skies and everything else. I still like it. I was actually watching it like on Friday. It's nice to have the 4K version though. I know the 4K, the Blu-ray version, because like I could still see, you know, what the original intent was with the hue. I mean, I guess it's changed some over the years. Like, I guess now again, I think about it, because I've seen like comparison videos like, oh, this is the difference between the VHS color grading. Oh, look at that. Fucking fancy we are. The VHS color grading change from to DVD to Blu-ray, and then another Blu-ray version, and then there's a streaming version. Color grading has been changing all these years. And I'm not super picky with the color grading changes, right? Like, some people might have issues with color grading. That's fine, you know. That's their preference. Me, it depends, right? Like, I'm not super picky with it, but if it's overly, like, ass, like, get out of my face. You're a disgrace. I know of a restaurant in town, little coffee shop, that actually plays random VHS tapes on their VHS and television, like combo, which I thought was pretty cool. No, not pirated movies. Though that would be pretty funny, though. Teach them how to pirate tapes. Hey, you wanted to learn how to pirate VHS tapes? Just talking to a Gen Z or something about it. Be like, I'll teach you my ways of the days. My mother, you know, my mother was the one that got me into pirating in the first place, right? It started with VHS tapes. I don't think I so much like pirated. Oh, this might be oh, you know what? This might be good. Oh, let's see. We want this. My mother got me into pirating, right? Bless her soul. I found more sophisticated ways since then of how to do it. And with the streaming pirated platforms as well, right? Like, it's so much easier now than what it used to be. Ah, shit. All the days of pirating. I mean, pirating hasn't really completely gone away. And I think it's actually increased exponentially ever since streaming platforms have been jacking up the rates exponentially. I seen something about like Disney Plus. Oh, I gotta go. Okay, and we are back. The volume's not working because I had it turned off earlier, the TV or something in the... So it's kind of messed something up here with the audio. So I can't even hear anything in the game. Unless I reset it. All right. Let's see something. Did I? Yeah, I did come down here. I don't want the candle so much. No candle for me. No, thank you. All right. Sayonara. Let's see the card, maybe. Justice, whatever. Okay, let's go fight the boss. Yeah, I hear no audio. That and like Isaac's weird with that glitchiness, right? Like if you do certain things, you can just have no audio. See if we can kill him with this full ruin charge use, you know, whatever. Or at least get him down mostly. Not quite. Pretty close, though. Wait, do I hear volume? I think I hear volume. Or am I hallucinating it? No, I don't think I'll hear it. Or if I am hearing it, it's not showing up on OBS. And I know because, like, OBS is working with the audio. Or you know what I mean. It should be working with the audio. If I hear it here. No, it's all masked up, yo. Oh shit, there we go. Give me that sweet, tasty key. Doesn't help us like at all. It only help us with floors with shops and get us free access to shops instead of paying for a key. It's all gone now. It's all gone downhill. Gosh darn it. All right. Magic Skin, huh? Hilarious game. Hilarious. What? Oh, yeah. We have the little whip. Whippets. Whippets good. Adoption papers. That's funny. That is funny game. And I gotta finish eating tonight and stuff. I gotta get up early in the morning. I got things mostly organized here after I strained out a whole slew of tapes and stuff the last week. Got this kind of sorted out, so to speak. Okay. Try it out. Oh, lay shit. Oh, we gulped that. We gulped. Did I get? No, it looked like I gulped something, but I didn't. It was just a ruse. Because I didn't have like anything I was holding on to before. I feel like I did gulp something. It might have been just the pale effect or something when I took it. And maybe I mistook that as like gulping something, right? So yeah. Anyways, happy St. Patrick's Day. I forgot to just mention happy St. Patrick's Day. I mean, I don't think I said anything about it. If I didn't, well, here you go. Happy St. Patrick's Day and all that fun stuff, you know. May your drinking is responsible and you're having a good old time and all that fun stuff, right? Okay. Fun run. Nice little casual run tonight, too, with things. Kind of lighthearted run and all that fun stuff, right? Oh, also, I got a blender that came in finally today, too. Gonna be testing that out. I'm pretty sure it works fine. A little bit more powerful than my last one. I tried looking for like a replacement, like blade piece or whatever. Can't find it anymore. They've been discontinued for I don't know how long. The only way you can find a replacement is you buy an entire unit, which is like, I mean, they're still cheap, but you know, at this point, it's like, do I really want to subject myself to that, you know? Like buy the same redundant one where it's like I'm going to have the same kind of problem again, you know? Like probably not. Like I got a Black and Decker like Ice Crusher, I guess it's called, right? And since it's so well known, I guess, for being a pretty good one the last few years or several years or whatever long, that I'm going to be able to find a replacement blade and whatever else that I need, right? Like, all right, I can't re-roll it because you suck it up, silly. Whatever. So I got something newer, and actually the container for it. What? Okay. It must have been like a mimic chest, and it changed the item, but then I didn't get hurt. So it's a whatever kind of um yellow shit. It's glass instead of plastic, so that's kind of cool. And I got it actually a little cheaper too, since it said it was not used, right? It's like if the box is damaged or something, then technically they have to dock the price on it to some degree, right? So I got it for like, I don't know, like $10, $15 cheaper than what it normally is. So that's pretty good. I sucked up some kind of like spacebar item, whatever the fuck that is. Only time will tell what happens here now. Oh yes, Dogtooth. I can't hear where the secret room stuff is gonna be. That's wonderful. Tiny Toma, why not? Listen, I'm not really going for points too much here. Like I did some right Hush and Boss Rush, but like I know I'm not gonna get like a top score today because it's highly competitive. I'm gonna have at least some scoring, goodness out of this. Okay, well, we did find this. Thanks to like our intuition of knowing where these things typically are, kind of deal, right? I didn't think it would probably be over here, but you never know. Sometimes they spawn in weird places. We have no fear of not boss rush, the devil fight coming up here. No worries of that nature. Okay, and just had to try. Well, it didn't do anything negative to me with popping that, so whatever the hell that spacebar was that I sucked up mysteriously. Where the fuck is this thing? I'm sorry to interrupt here with our programming, but where the fuck is this? Oh, it must be like over here then. All right. Or up here. I checked there. I checked there. I checked there. The typical. Well, maybe it's the top of the map. I didn't check yet. I probably didn't. Uh-huh. Aha, yep. Okay. That's just for that bonus. Fun run, I also seen, was it Daryl and the Little People or something like that, a Disney film? Classic St. Patrick's Day Leprechaun kind of movie. I remember seeing bits and pieces when I was a kid. Interesting film. Good classic film. It's not often we watch Leprechaun films, like, I mean, I don't think there's so many, like, of those as there are, like, Christmas movies. Like, not even exaggerating, there's, like, far more Christmas movies out there than, or any, like, holiday theme movies like that compared to, like, St. Patrick's Day kind of related stuff. If I wanted to, I could just watch, like, the Leprechaun series. I've seen them before, all of them. They get worse every time, I'll assure you that. Well, they did their own. Well, they had one, I think. No, there was two of them. There, the last two. I think it was two different production companies were trying to do their own kind of reimagining of the Leprechaun series, trying to do something like that. 345th place, I guess that wasn't too bad. But they were trying to do their own different Leprechaun series. Well, they started at one, second from the last, and that flopped, I think. I mean, it was made by the company that owns WWE or whatever the deal was. And I don't think it went so well. And then somebody else, or maybe the same company, tried another different spin. And it's supposed to be the sequel of the first movie. That was right. But then they kind of did something a little different with that. Not kind of distancing from the previous movies was the deal in certain ways. And it didn't work out either. So I don't know. I don't know, maybe that's the end of the Leprechaun series, or maybe it's just kind of laying dormant until the time is right, or whatever the deal is. But they're just kind of like sitting dormant for now. Anyways, that'll do it for tonight. I am getting tired. I gotta eat. I gotta get ready for bed and stuff. So it's like, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.